I bet she's happy you did the manifesto. Yeah, I was checking her numbers and everything, and it is true. And this was like one of the pieces of feedback I got was like, if you leave her alone, she'll die, which is true. She is dying off. She lives only on conflict. But the issue is just that there were so many things that needed to be said that nobody was going to say. That's why I felt like I kind of had to say something. Keffel says cringe sometimes, but this is a bit excessive. Like, wow, dude, she got your Twitter banned. That's not terrorism. Dude hangs out with actual Nazis and thinks Keffels is actually a threat to anyone. I'm going to hear Destiny out. Maybe I'm wrong about Keffels. It's hard to tell what's true or not since there's so much misinformation surrounding her and in online politics in general. Honestly, it doesn't look too good for Keffels. Honestly, I don't want Keffels to be a shitty person. She's basically the voice of the trans community right now. I know it sounds cringe, but it's been nice having some sort of representation out there. But if she is malicious, then she deserves to be called out for it and apologize. I question her even a little bit and she gets pissed with me. Honestly, at this point, I'm beginning to see what everyone has told me over the last few months. Yeah, it's fine. I'm just disappointed, I guess. I was willing to look past all the weird, edgy shit you did, and you are siding with Destiny and all the YouTube edgelords. He literally went point by point debunking everything you've said in the last few months. He's providing sources and evidence for all of his claims. This is all stuff I've heard for months now. I never have it any credibility. Oh, I never gave it any credibility because I never saw proof until now. You fucked up. I don't know if it's malicious or not, but you have a responsibility to fact check anything you spread on your platform. Like, I've basically completely ruined my reputation in the commentary community over the last few months just so I could go to bat with her, but I won't stand for someone who is lying and spreading misinformation. Something I said before that I've been thinking about a lot is, I feel like, I've said this before, I'm sure there are, like, psych researchers that have, like, more formalized things for this. Pretend these are boobs or something. I don't know. I think that, like, when we look at people, we assume that, like, let's say that these four circles represent individuals, right? I think when we look at people, we assume that we all live in this shared media environment, that all of us are here, all of us have perfect access to all information, and all of us can evaluate what information is good or bad at any given point in time. So when we see somebody who's like a flat earther or an anti-vaxxer or a Donald Trump supporter, we see people like this and we're like, oh, like, you must be a dumb fuck. Because, like, how could you ever make such a stupid decision when all the information that you could ever need is in front of you? But I think what actually happens is I think people are actually hardcore relegated to these particular media environments. And when you're only ever shown certain types of information, you're going to come to pretty obvious conclusions about the world. And the type of, like, media world that this guy lives in might literally be, like, epistemically and factually different, completely and totally different than the type of world that this dude lives in. So when these guys, like, butt heads on an issue, then of course, you know, they're both going to feel like the other side is, like, fundamentally dishonest, not engaging with the point, because the information that they see is, like, totally fucking different, right? Like, this guy up here, the information that he sees might be like, oh, nurse puts on mask and 1,000 people are saved from coronavirus. Oh, vaccination has 100% effective, blah, blah, blah. They might see a whole bunch of dumb shit like this. The guy down here might see like, oh, vaccinated children dying of myocarditis, blah, 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 blah. And then when they go to butt heads with each other, you know, they're both like just completely have no correct information or understanding of anything. But I think it's important to understand these media environments, because if you have this understanding of people rather than this understanding of people, if you have this understanding of people, you've got a huge problem. Because now if I'm putting the right information in front of somebody, they're still not going to believe me because they're just choosing to be willfully ignorant, right? Like, well, I'm fucked. But if you have this understanding of people, then really all you have to think of is like, okay, you just have to like get the right information in front of somebody to change their mind. And then hopefully, assuming that the information is correct and you've done a good job at presenting it, which are two totally different things, by the way, then hopefully people change their mind. That's kind of like the thought process I'm operating under now. When I did my first write of the Keffels thing, the tone, this is part of the reason too why it's a little bit not as consistent as I would have wanted it to in the writing quality. My tone was very, very, very snarky and very sarcastic and very aggressive. And I went back and I cleaned up through like 2 or 3 different rewrites. I erased almost everything that was snarky in tone. I think I left in like a couple little quips. But I erased almost all the snarkiness and I tried to present it in a way more neutral light so that I think it would be better received by people that I would want it to be received by too. I'm not quite sure what you do about people like this. Real talk, where's the GoFundMe money going? Is just the Keffel's derangement syndrome version of Where's Obama's birth certificate. He did 3 hours with receipts and DMs, lol. It's back up, go watch. Destiny Blue Keffel's out. I don't care. I don't know what to do with people like that. But I think those people are the exception, not the rule, I think. Click more replies. Keffel's does, but I don't. Oh, nice.
You're all in bubbles.
We're all in the bubbles.